community has been through its fair share of controversies, but every now and then something comes along that just makes you stop and think, how did we even get here? This situation is one of those moments. It has nothing to do with the game, no updates, no cheating scandals, nothing like that. This one is entirely focused on SpyderSammy, the person who actually created Steal a Brain Rot, and the accusations being thrown at him are serious ones. People on TikTok are calling him a racist and spreading the claim that he holds some kind of hatred towards Muslim people. And the more you look into it, the more you realize just how little sense this whole thing makes. But it does not stop there, because on top of all the accusations, people are now threatening to quit Roblox entirely if Steal a Brain Rot goes through with what they have apparently announced. The reason being that a certain upcoming update to the game is being described by these people as deeply offensive. Now at this point you are probably sitting there wondering what exactly is going on here, and what this update even is. To understand where all of this is coming from, you have to go back about a month. SpyderSammy made an announcement that Steal a Brain Rot would be getting a Ramadan update. For those who are not familiar, Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, and during this time Muslims around the world observe a period of fasting from sunrise to sunset. It is one of the most significant and widely observed traditions in the world. So SpyderSammy essentially promised an entire in-game event built around it, which honestly sounded like a cool idea at the time. The problem is that promise was never followed through on, and with Ramadan coming to a close very soon, people have started to notice. But before we actually get into the full breakdown of everything, it would mean a lot if you subscribed and left a like on the video. We are genuinely, let's get into it. The way this whole thing blew up actually comes down to one video. There is a short going around right now sitting at around 3 million views with the title Sammy Hates Muslims, and honestly just seeing that title is enough to make you stop scrolling. So of course people clicked on it, and it spread fast. But here is where the full story begins. It traces back to an event SpyderSammy ran not too long ago where he put up a community poll asking players whether they wanted a Ramadan update or a Ramadan event. And if you look at the screenshot here, around 5 million people voted yes, meaning the community actually wanted to see it happen. The issue is that Ramadan is ending on Thursday, March 19th, and by the time you are watching this on March 16th, that is literally 3 days away. SpyderSammy has not delivered on that promise at all, unless he is planning to just drop something completely out of nowhere with zero warning, which at this point seems unlikely. So this is essentially where everything falls apart. A large portion of the community is frustrated that SpyderSammy never followed through on what he said he would do, and that frustration has turned into something much bigger than it should have. Videos have been spreading all over the internet of people flat out saying SpyderSammy hates Muslim people, and the entire basis for that claim is just the fact that he did not release an update he promised. Think about that for a second, because that is the whole argument. Someone did not release a game update, and people jumped straight to accusing him of hating an entire religion. It is genuinely one of the weakest pieces of logic you will ever come across, and it has gotten to the point where TikTok is now flooded with kids making video after video calling SpyderSammy a racist, all over one update that never came. But here is where it actually gets more complicated, because this is not just an argument between people who want the update and people who are angry it never came. There is a whole separate debate happening within the community, and some of it is coming from people who actually observe Ramadan themselves. There are people saying that turning Ramadan into a game event would be disrespectful to their religion in the first place. On top of that, others are raising the point that SpyderSammy would essentially be making money off of a religious holiday, and that's sitting wrong with a lot of people. But when you actually step back and think about it, there is really no indication that SpyderSammy had any bad intentions behind this, because this is not the first time he has built an event around a holiday. He has done it for Halloween, Valentine's Day, and even Christmas, which at its core is a Christian holiday celebrating the birth of Jesus. So the idea that Ramadan specifically would be treated any differently or with any less respect does not really hold up, and the community reaction to all of this is honestly all over the place. If you go through the comments and posts floating around about this situation, you will find people coming from completely different angles. Some people are upset because they feel like if Ramadan is getting an event, then their religion deserves one too. There are people bringing up things like Lent, people asking for Christmas events, people saying they only want Christian-themed content in the game. And look, everyone is entitled to their opinion, but some of these takes are a stretch. The grammar alone on some of these comments tells you everything you need to know about who is actually behind them. But what is even more baffling is the amount of people who are straight up saying they are going to quit Steal a Brain Rot entirely over this. Not one or two people, a lot of people. And that is the part that is hard to wrap your head around, because the idea that someone else's religion being acknowledged in a video game is enough to make you stop playing it completely is a pretty wild place to land. It really says a lot about how far this has spiraled. And when you take a step back and actually think about what this entire argument is centered around, it is a game about stealing brain rots. That is the context here. People are having full-blown religious and cultural debates in the comments of a Roblox game about brain rots. The internet is a wild place, and it is not just TikTok either, because Twitter has also gotten involved. There are people over there arguing that a Roblox game should not be incorporating religion at all, with some saying the platform caters to kids as young as 5 and that religion has no place in that space. And honestly, that argument would carry a bit more weight if SpyderSammy had not already done Christmas and Easter events before, both of which are rooted in Christianity. Nobody said a word then. The moment a Ramadan event gets brought up though, suddenly it becomes a massive problem. That inconsistency is hard to ignore. At the end of the day, SpyderSammy doing a Ramadan event or even an Eid event down the line is not an attack on anyone. It is just a game event, the same way Christmas and Easter were just game events. The reality is that a lot of the noise around this is just people looking for a reason to hate on something that is popular right now. Now this is actually something I want to bring up myself because I made a whole video on this before, and I think it is a point that gets lost in all the noise. People keep focusing on SpyderSammy as the problem, but nobody is really talking about the characters themselves. Because if you actually know the origins of these brain rot characters, the picture gets a lot more complicated. Bombardino Crocodilo, for example, when that character first started spreading around the internet, the audio and context attached to it was genuinely disturbing. The translation touched on killing civilians in Gaza and Palestine, dismissing belief in Allah, and basically turning real suffering into a joke. So the question then becomes, can you really build a Ramadan event on top of characters that carry that kind of history behind them and expect it to land respectfully? That is the conversation that actually deserves attention here, not the surface level stuff about whether SpyderSammy showed up or not. And Bombardino Crocodilo is not even the only example. There is another character in Steal a Brainrot called Tralalero Tralala, that shark-looking one, and the audio that originally came with that character is just as bad if not worse. The lyrics are basically calling Allah a pig. So you have two characters sitting inside this game that have genuinely Islamophobic origins attached to them. Now to be fair, the actual original audios are not in Steal a Brainrot itself. The game does not play any of that. But the argument people are making is that even having these characters be part of a Ramadan event feels wrong given what they represent and where they came from. And honestly, I get that, because at their core these characters were built on content that was directly offensive towards Muslim people and their religion. So putting them in an update meant to celebrate that same religion does feel a bit contradictory. That said, from what has been leaking about this Ramadan update, SpyderSammy is supposedly creating brand new characters specifically for it, ones that have no connection to Tralalero Tralala or Bombardino Crocodilo whatsoever. And if that is the case, then a lot of the arguments being thrown at him start to fall apart, because you cannot call someone a racist for an update built on completely fresh characters that carry none of that baggage. And of course, on top of everything else, there are people who are just cutting straight to it and saying SpyderSammy is only doing this update to make money off of Ramadan. Which, sure, every event in every game is a business decision to some extent. That is just how it works.
Sammy canceled the Ramadan event in Steal a Brainrot, and here's why. Because during today's admin event, he said, guys, I know a lot of you want a Ramadan event. I didn't want to do anything wrong to disrespect the religion, and a lot of our admin events have music, especially when I run a lot of trades. And I don't think a Ramadan event would be a good idea, sadly. But I promise y'all an Eid event.
Want to know what you actually think about all of this? Drop it in the comments, because genuinely, do you think SpyderSammy not delivering on this update makes him disrespectful towards Muslims and towards Ramadan as a whole? Because from where I stand, I really do not see the issue with what he was trying to do. He has built events around holidays before and nobody batted an eye. Christmas came and went with a whole event, and Christmas is literally a religious holiday. It is the celebration of the birth of Jesus. And before anyone says Halloween does not count because it is not religious, Halloween actually traces its roots back to a Christian observance called All Hallows Eve, so that one is religious too. The point is he has been doing this, nobody had a problem with it, and now suddenly one Ramadan event has the internet falling apart. So if you are genuinely out here labeling someone a racist because they did not add a new update to a game about stealing brain rots, I think it is time to log off and go touch some grass.